And we're now joined by Wyatt Kaiser, Fighting Saints defenseman this season, also played for Andover High School in Minnesota, and number 37 on the North American Skaters NHL Central Scouting list, the final list before this upcoming NHL draft in Montreal. And Wyatt, first and foremost, thanks for joining us today.
No, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So I have to ask you before we get into any of this, how have you been dealing with the last month with really no hockey inactivity? What's it been like for you?
It's been weird. I mean, it's been a long time since I haven't played hockey this long. It's nice. I mean, it's nice to give your body a break, but I'm missing it. I can't wait to get back on the rink.
Have you been doing anything to keep busy, maybe workouts or anything hockey related in this time?
Yeah, I've been working out in the basement. I got a little shooting area, so I've been shooting and stick handling down there.
Any fun competitions that you've seen on YouTube that you've tried to do yourself in your basement hockey-wise?
I haven't. My dog loves stick handling, so we go on the synthetic ice all the time. She'll chase me around and try to get the puck. So, I mean, most of the time that's what I'm doing down there.
And in terms of if you're not doing hockey, if you're not working out, what have you been doing? Video games, Netflix, combination of both?
Yeah, I mean, I got a TV in my room. I've been playing a little bit of COD, Fortnite. I've been trying to get out of the house, play some tennis, practice some social distancing still. But, I mean, when it was nice out, I was outside, kind of cleaning up the tree house, working on that a little bit. But now it just snowed, so, I mean, kind of stuck inside again.
Yeah, absolutely. So your season, luckily for you, even though it didn't come to the end that maybe your team wanted to, you actually got to play games that ended the season. It wasn't the pandemic that ended the season like what happened in the USHL. But take us through your final high school year with Andover and what it meant to be able to play that final year as part of in the Minnesota State tournament.
It was great. I mean, coming back, the culture there or whatnot, it was so much fun. I mean, getting better with the guys every day, going to school with them, going to practice, and then kind of coming to the end of the year. The sections, it's kind of the school spirits going into it. I mean, then we're going to state. I mean, it's what you've been dreaming of for a long time. You step out, you're coming through that tunnel, the XL, there's 17,000 people there, just cheering loud. All is unbelievable.
I guess for people that don't know about Minnesota high school hockey, and even for me, I know how big of a deal it is, but I have never experienced it myself. Just how intense is it to actually be a part of Minnesota high school hockey?
Oh, it's crazy. I mean, you walk in, so you get into the rink, you have security escort you in, and then you get there, they check your bags, make sure you don't have anything. We escort down to the locker room. We get a speaker, director come in and sit us down and kind of talk about it. Then the refs come in the locker room before the game, talk to us. And then we have like a program we follow. We'll go out. You have a certain area where we're warmed up for security. You got the Bower Lounge feeding us with stuff. And then, you walk out to the rink through that tunnel, and there's about 17,000 people just cheering loud. It's unreal.
And I'm going to guess that that's the main reason why you see so many players like yourself, Ryder Donovan for the Fighting Saints fans who are familiar with last year, that decide that, yeah, I want to play all 4 years of high school hockey because, like you said, it's a huge deal. It's like being treated like you're at the pro level, but when you're still in high school.
Oh, for sure. I mean, and just being with your buddies, you've been growing up playing with them since 6 years old. And that's always been the dream of all of you guys to get to the state tournament as a high schooler. So
does it start in Minnesota where, if you grow up playing hockey, obviously you have aspirations of college hockey, of the NHL, but is that first dream the state tournament and then the rest follows after that?
Yeah, for sure. There's so many Minnesota grad or like high schoolers that are back in Minnesota talking about how great it is growing up, and so that's always kind of your first dream is get to the state tournament because you're always watching it on TV when you're younger.
Well, let's get into the USHL experience you had this year because your season started in Dubuque and then you went back to Minnesota to play high school hockey. You played 11 games in Dubuque. What was the experience like for you in those 11 games, really getting your first game feel at the USHL level?
I liked it a lot. I think it was really professional. It was really good competition. I enjoyed playing there a lot.
What was one thing maybe coming into camp and then those games that you knew you were playing and that you really wanted to focus on and work on with your game?
I think a lot kind of after practice. During practice, I was trying to work on my shot, get that better from the point, kind of getting it through with a little bit more velocity. And also just making simple plays. Finding the guy and hitting them.
Did you find that when you moved to high school hockey, having that USHL experience, those things that you work on start to click a little bit quicker, easier for you?
Yeah, for sure. I think that kind of coming in defensively, breaking the puck out, moving the puck, it was definitely easier. I mean, I think from the 3 months I had in Dubuque, that helped me with that for sure. And I think high school kind of helped me a little bit more work offensively, where I could kind of try some more things offensively.
Speaking of offensively in high school, I know that you were put into some different situations than just being a defenseman in your high school hockey. I know you were taking face-offs as well. What was that experience like, not being just a defenseman?
Oh, I loved it. I mean, you get to do a little bit of everything. It was so much fun. I mean, you don't usually take a face off as a defenseman or play a little bit of forward here and there. So I enjoyed that.
I know Oliver David has a set play that he runs sometimes shorthanded where a defenseman will take a face-off and try to spring a forward out of the zone. Did you ever run that play in practice, or when you went back to Andover, was that the first time you took a face-off?
I did. I took a face-off on the PK, so one of my friends got kicked out of the draw, and so I went in and I said, "You go on the left wall and just go." I'll win it back. And then he was mad at me because he had no idea what to do, but yeah.
There you go. Well, if for whatever reason defenseman doesn't work out, I don't think that's any issue. But maybe you can start being a face-off specialist or something in the NHL.
Maybe.
Well, speaking of the NHL, that's what I wanted to get to. The big reason we brought you on at the NHL Central scouting list. You're eligible for this upcoming draft in Montreal, and you were rated 37 amongst all North American skaters. So that's forwards and defensemen. You're the 37th ranked player in North America. When you saw that final ranking, what was the feeling to be well inside the top 50?
Felt good. I mean, I think my high school coach sent it to me. I mean, I'm not on Twitter or too much stuff, so I don't really see all that stuff. So he sent it to me. He's like, "Congratulations." I was like, "Thank you." I mean, I don't know. I try not to worry about it too much. I mean, I'm just working, try to get better at hockey, but it feels nice.
Speaking of trying to get better at hockey for the NHL draft, obviously, you know, the coaches, the scouts are looking at the entire package. It's not just hockey, it's everything else. But if you were going to, you know, sell yourself for an NHL team, what's something in the last year that you can really hang your hat on and say, now I feel like I'm ready to do this at a super high level?
I feel like hang my hat on. Probably I'm a good skater, smart hockey player, two-way defenseman. I think that's kind of what I sell myself on.
And moving forward, I know you talked about some of the growth you experienced in the USHL. What are some things that you want to continue to work on and get better moving forward? A couple big keys for you.
I think a couple of big keys for me that'll help me a lot is the offensive game a little bit more on the blue lines, kind of moving laterally and getting shots through, and maybe just kind of figuring out when and where to hold the puck, pass the puck in the offensive zone, just the timing and the patience.
A ton of accolades for you already to your name, but another one that you didn't get the ultimate award, but again, you were nominated for it. You were nominated for the Mr. Hockey Award in Minnesota, and for those that don't know, it's one of the biggest honors a high school hockey player, the biggest honor a high school hockey player can get in Minnesota. It's like the Hobie Baker for Minnesota high school hockey players. What was the feeling to just be nominated to go to that ceremony in general?
I mean, definitely that was one of my goals kind of coming back from Dubuque is Mr. Hockey. I mean, try to get it. But I kind of was thinking, in the back of my head, I was thinking about it, but the first goal is get to state. I mean, it doesn't matter what I do. Just we got to get to state. But kind of once the season was over and going to that, it felt pretty good. I mean, seeing all the guys I've grown up playing hockey with kind of up there, it was good. I didn't have a speech ready, though, so if I won it, I don't know what I would have said.
No bullet points at all, just complete blank.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So I was sitting up there and they were about to announce, and I look at my one of my friends that was up there. I was like, if I get nominated, I got no idea what to say. I'm gonna just go up there and stutter. Oh, thank you. Do
you have any jokes in your back pocket that you could tell in a situation like that?
Nothing.
One final question before we let you go. And again, thanks, Wyatt, for joining us here today. Wyatt Kaiser, number 37 on the NHL Central Scouting final list. But one final question for you today. I know there's a lot of uncertainty right now. People don't know exactly when we'll be able to go back to somewhat of a normal life. But do you kind of have an idea of what these next couple months are going to look like in terms of preparation, in terms of training, and just keeping your body right?
I think for me, my high school coach just called me and he wants to set up a skating thing or skating through our hometown. And he says they'll probably open up in July. So pretty much that's kind of what I'm looking forward right now. And other than that, just working out and trying to keep the hands and shot good. And also, I mean, once it's a nice day out, I go run some hills or kind of work on that stuff. So, I mean, I'm just trying to train and work on the shot and hands as much as I can.
Well, there you go, Wyatt. Wyatt Kaiser, tremendous season with Andover. Great to see you playing for the Fighting Saints, and great to see you listed so high on this NHL Central scouting list. We'll be following very closely when the NHL draft comes around. And as always, thanks for the time and stay safe.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Take care.
See you, Jack.